Hello and welcome to the newspaper review here on Tab TV. My name is Ube Jerry, your host for today. And yes, as we've been doing it, we are the streets of Port Harcourt to get to see the reactions of people as regards headlines making rounds on the papers. You out there, you are viewers, can also be a part of this show. Please subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe. Turn on your notification button, connect with us across all our social media platforms so that when we drop videos like this, you'd get to receive our notifications. But before we do that, before we get to discuss with people on the street, let's first look into the newspapers and see what the stories look like. Today being April 24th, Wednesday 2024, we could see at the Nation's newspaper, it says, "My view on state police personnel," says IG Igbetokun. Details is found on page 29. Fubara Reshuffles Executive Council. Details is found on page 26. Why I Am Leaving PDP by ex-governor Ihe Dioha. Details is found on page 4. UNN suspends lecturer for alleged sexual harassment. Details is found on page 29. Federal government appoints new consulate general for US, Germany, China, UAE, others. Details is found on page 2. And at the main story here, you could see it says EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. Details is found on page 28. Bottom story here says Tinubu, "We are transforming economic infrastructural fortunes of Niger Delta." Interesting. Sub-story under that reads, Oborevo recharges NDDC to complete ongoing abandoned projects. Details is found on page 29. Dangote diesel sell for 1,050 naira at MRS filling stations. Details is found on page 5, and that's all we'll be taking on the Nation's newspaper. And moving on, we'll be looking at the Nigerian pilot. You can see here it says, Bayelsa saved 2.3 billion naira from Lagos from local government reforms, says Governor Diri. Details is found on page 5. Two wives of Governor Adeleke fight over First Lady seat. Very funny one. Women and their issues. Details is found on page 10. This main story here reads, State police not negotiable. Sub-story under that reads, Ex-President Goodluck Jonathan speaks on insecurity, says state police not negotiable. That allowing states to have own police is harness for successful fight against crime. Details of this story is found on page 4 of the Nigerian pilots. Africa must take comprehensive approach to combat terrorism, says Tinubu. Details is found on page 5. Federal government to establish 100 billion naira police housing funds, says IGP Ogbetokun. Details is found on page 9. Man commits suicide in Imo State to evade prosecution. Very sad one. Details is found on page 5. Governor Ayedi Datiwa wins Ondo APC governorship primaries. Congratulations to him. Details of this story is found on page 6. Federal government sets 18 years as minimum entry into tertiary institution. I think that's a very good start. Let's separate children from adults in schools. Details is found on page 23. And that's all we'll be taking on the Nigerian pilot. And lastly for today, we'll be looking at the Punch newspaper. You can see here it says, Air Nigeria, Sirika goes on trial for 8 billion naira fraud. Details is found on page 30. Let them keep prosecuting everybody that is found guilty. That is Nigeria that we want, a new Nigeria. All right, still on the newspaper here, we can see it says, Dangote drops diesel to 940 naira. Stations sell 1,400 naira. Details is found on page 21. CBN releases more dollars as naira weakens to 1,300 naira per dollar. Details is found on page 23. The main story here reads, EFCC may prosecute 300 forest racketeers. Details is found on page 2. Bullying, Abuja school shot, victim may sue. Details is found on page 27. Rivers vigilante commander, 3 others arrested for robbery. Details is found on page 4. Suspended UNN lecturer in custody for alleged sexual harassment. Details of this interesting story is found on page 4 and 5 of the Punch newspaper. And lastly, it says 50,000 schools listed for federal government safe school scheme. Details is found on page 7, and that's all we'll be taking on the Punch newspaper. And let's get to see the reactions of people on the streets. Let's get to hear what they have to say as regards these headlines. Stay tuned. All right, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Welcome, sir. It's good to have you here. I would like your thoughts on the Nations that says Fubara Reshuffles Executive Council. What do you have to say about that? It's just in over 1 year in office.
Yes, it's a welcome issue because in the Executive Council there's a mix-up. We want it to have a human face because we don't know who is who there for now. So he should be able to put people that is loyal to him to move the state forward, not those who will sabotage the system. So it's a welcome development. Yeah.
Well, now, what about the angle of those persons that will be removed, and removing you might involve losing your job and losing your source of income?
Well, if you have worked well, I don't think he will remove you. He may recall you, he may put you back. But those because before he go into reshuffling this, he must have known all of them. You know those who are with him and those who are not with him. Yeah. At the end, he will now put everything in order, and the state will move forward.
But seeing how Fubara has been moving in his governance since he entered power, do you think he has been moving rightly, even with the back and forth he has been having in the judicial system?
Well, he's a man who knows where he's going to. He never allow anything to distract him. He's moving towards achievement. So at the end, I believe he will achieve.
Okay, but one last question now. Seeing how Governor Fubara is moving now, we could see that for the fact anybody that has good intention would rule nicely, right? But what's your take on this godfatherism thing?
Well, that is what is killing our progress in this country. If there's any way we can do away with it, the only thing is that our electoral system is not in order. There's a lot of things that need to be amended so that people who go there will actually go to deliver, not to look on any person or not to be teleguided by some certain people who will want to use them later to achieve their purpose.
But we should not shy away from the fact that godfatherism has a positive impact. Like some persons will say, it's godfatherism that brought Fubara into power.
Yes, godfatherism bringing Fubara into power. We have seen the purpose, because it has a purpose. So the people who are fathering them want to achieve something at the end through them. So that is their main aim, not to help them develop the state. It's to help them at least with drawing things from them. Benefits.
And ruling indirectly through them.
Yes. They want to be in charge always. They want to be in charge because when you say this godfather, you always, whatever he tells you, you want to do it because you will not want to disobey him. So that thing is causing a lot of trouble. So in this case, I believe if he has a focus, he will achieve.
All right, as a concerned Nigerian, are you entering this? Okay. Now, you are from River State, right, sir?
Yes, I'm from
Okay, and you are a concerned citizen now. What is your advice for Governor Fubara towards his governance? Like, if you have any suggestion, if he meets you today, say, okay, Daddy, give me an advice, what would you say to him?
I have to look at what he has proposed to do and look at the area of importance that will impact on the people so that they can focus this area. I believe, I remember when Amechi was in office, he focused on human capital development and he went about doing it, sent people overseas, and I mean, it touches a lot of lives doing that. And the people were benefiting. Even though some of them, they didn't allow them to finish when the next government come into power. And those who lost, some of the parents were not happy because their children came back so that for achieving their purpose. That is what government is supposed to do to its citizens. So if he will channel in those areas to touch the lives of people, and that situation where you want to develop your own area alone because you're a governor is not acceptable. It's not acceptable. You have to touch the entire, the 23 local government must see your presence then at the end you will say, yes, I've done something. Not a situation you say, I'm there. When you go there, develop your own. That is senseless.
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
It's good to have you here again.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'd like your thoughts on the nations that says EFCC arrests Sirika, slams Emefiele with fresh charges. We could see what EFCC has been doing in the past few days, months, and weeks. We could see there's a lot of changes. They are probing Emefiele. We could see the saga they are having with Yahaya Bello, the former Kogi State governor, and even giving this Sirika a fresh arrest as regards Nigerian Air, the 8 billion naira charge, misappropriation of funds. What do you have to say about these stories?
Okay, now, first and foremost, I will really give out kudos to EFCC. Unlike them, like this particular body.
I like that word, unlike them.
It's unlike them to actually act like this. So I'm actually wondering, has there been some level of change in the...
Maybe a reform.
Yes, in the body of... Because... Man, their drawing board this time is actually hitting it at...
But actually, this was how they used to be in times past, before they started they started bribing them and all that. But now I think they are back in full force to tackle crime.
I'm telling you, like, for this committee that actually, I don't know if it's actually a committee, but for those that are actually in charge of this current race, I give kudos to them, and they should just maintain this energy. It's actually yielding positive fruit, in as much as we're yet to see the outcome. But the EFCC that we used to know, they are back. They are back this time around with full force. So every single, like, let's just deviate a little bit. I overheard one of the current musicians pleading on videos that if EFCC have seen any of his videos spreading money, they should please forgive him.
Everybody is sitting up.
I'm telling you, they have not even called him. They have not even called him out yet. He's already apologizing in case somehow they must have saved this video, and he doesn't know if it's the next, because they actually arrested Obi Kubana, arrested the like. So for the past 2 months, or should I say 3 weeks now, EFCC has been on top of their game. Now, heading back to Emefiele's case, now this one is a fresh charge. I'm actually wondering, will this man actually be able to overcome all these charges? Is it not too much? Because I could remember one of the books we used to read that year. They say the title of the book is Too Much for a Woman. This one is too much for one man. This one is too much for one particular man to actually bear. But that notwithstanding, I feel he should be
held accountable.
He should be held accountable.
And this will teach so many of our leaders and politicians a huge lesson.
Obviously, now if Emefiele, by God's mercy, escapes all this one, because I know at the end of the day, it will actually result to. I don't want to start giving this, but it will result to something huge. But if he comes out of this, his repentance will be huge. I could remember those days he was carrying big Bible. And be floating. It was on a newspaper and I was carrying this, but after this period, I bet his repentance will be much heavier. Because
I overheard somebody was saying that if the EFCC continues probing our leaders this same way, probing people this same way, arresting people that are guilty of any crime that they are suspected of, that most will have a little less number of people contesting of positions. Instead of we having like 4 persons wanting to be president, we'll have like 2 persons, because they know that nothing would come out. They will not reap anywhere. They will not reap what they do.
Obviously, because over time now, our leaders tend to be so relaxed, because EFCC and ICPC and the likes, they are responsible in like, they are the X-ray machines to our leaders. But in as much as these few years they have not been effective, we were actually seeing the effects now. There's every single governance is actually they embezzle money. We know it fully well. We can remember our Senate president was arrested though. Exactly. Our Senate president was arrested. They passed. So if they should continue like this, I bet you there will be less. There will be less, because just like what you said, fewer persons will come out to contest, because at the end of the day they know that having to be in control of money is difficult. But so in order for you not to just get involved, I bet you most persons will just pull back and rather they prefer being on the background than being at the forefront. So kudos to EFCC, and please, in as much as they are making a lot of arrests, let's start getting results, because this one, let it be yielding fruit.
Anyone that is punishable should face the
They
law.
should actually face the law. In as much as they are placing a fresh charge on Mefele, we're yet to hear conclusions on the previous ones. How far has it gone? What is going on now? And this Saraki's case and the like. You know, now like EFCC has them in their in troops.
It just look like they went to open their book of records.
I'm telling you, they just opened, as the typical Nigerians will say, they don't open their yash. Yaya Bello is still EFCC, still on hot seat, and I know they are yet to actually get a positive result, especially in the case of Yaya Bello, because that one has like a 4 walls around him, like everybody, and it's quite surprising. Yaya Bello now has so many cabals trying to protect his interests, tick backings, having to protect his interests.
It's not supposed to be so. If you know you are not guilty, come out plain and face the law. Let's know if you are guilty or not.
That's to show you that if EFCC should press on to the Yaya Bello's case, and
some other top
a large, because from this beginning they are already safeguarding him. That's to say there is more to do. So they should just continue, and at the end of the day, let us see results that will give us more trust on every matter they investigate.
All right, thank you very
Thank
much. All right, you've heard everything that has been discussed here. You heard of the analysis that the people on the street have to say regarding these headlines. Yes, this is where we draw our curtains for today. So if you have anything to add to it, please slide to our comment section and drop your comment. Of course, we would like to hear from you. Subscribe to our channel if you are yet to subscribe. Turn on your notification button. Connect with us across all our social media platforms. My name is Jerry, your host for today, and this has been the newspaper review here on TAF TV. See you next time.